Hey guys, it's Ryan Wilcox here with thePSGB.com, and I'm doing episode 2 of this questionnaire episode vlog kind of thing. But this time around, I actually have a special guest, Ben Sagar.
Yeah, I made it this time.
He's here. He's back. So, guys, our question today is, what was it like starting your podcast? Ben, you're the founder. This question's actually from Cobalt23. So good question, Cobalt23. Guys, if you guys aren't aware, you guys can also send us questions on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook if you want to. If you want to, go way back into the ancient days. Yeah, I mean, we can just go right into it. Ben, do you want to start?
Yeah, so starting the podcast was kind of like the first big, I don't want to say the first big thing, but it was one of the first big pushes we did on the website to get us out there, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it was kind of like nerve-wracking, but it was also kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it on the podcast, but that didn't work.
Those goddamn technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties always suck. We have them half the time.
We just had them like 5 minutes ago.
Be prepared for those.
Yeah. Of course. So yeah, I mean, for me, the thing is, I think the biggest thing was we never even spoken to each other on or before episode 1 of the podcast. We never did. It was through emails, text messages. Cobalt23, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I definitely encourage it. I think the main thing is, I mean, at least maybe for Ben too, definitely for me, was just listening to a bunch of podcasts on the iTunes app. Just listening to Podcasts Beyond. That's a great example. If you love video games and you love podcasts, it's pretty much like a radio show. Greg Miller, he's amazing at it, and you just kind of learn, and you just kind of, the format of it, and, then you kind of create your own format, and you sculpt everything, and, it just kind of changes. Like, episode 1 is completely different compared to, like, our episode 10, because at first we had, like, this, whole little news outlet thing where we just said a bunch of news stuff that we had on our website, and then we just kind of, like, created our own topics, and, had listener questions, and, got people like you into it. So it's just glad to have, I'm just glad to have people, or fans just kind of be involved in your work, and, it's a huge part of it. So yeah, Ben, what was it like for you to kind of, like, transition episode after episode? I mean, did you feel improvement?
For sure. Like, the first episode, it was, like, we were all nervous, but it was kind of, like, a good nervous.
Yeah.
We were, like, excited. And then podcast after podcast, we started to, like, understand what we were doing, right? Because I listen to all kinds of podcasts, right? And so I kind of get it, but actually doing it yourself is way more different than I expected it to be.
It's scary.
But it's fun, too. Like, don't think it's nervous. Like, it's fun. Like, we like doing the podcasts every week, right? So,
yeah.
And you do want to stand out, too. Like, don't just copy somebody else's podcast, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to, say you listen to, for example, Podcast Beyond. You don't do, that's what we did at the start. We had
I'm guilty of it, yeah.
Yeah, we have our own version of the Roper Report, and then we did all this other stuff, whatever. So now we're trying to, like, transition into other stuff, but we're still on, episode 10, 11?
10, 11, yeah.
Yeah, so we're still learning the ropes. So,
yeah, definitely.
So I'm excited for the future, too, of what we're going to do. And
yeah,
get more listeners, and get on iTunes, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I mean, do you see yourself doing it in, 4 or 5 years, even with the PSGB, or?
I have no idea. Maybe something will come along, but I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, Cobalt23, if you want to start a podcast, I think the biggest thing is just have somebody and that you're close to. I mean, that's like the best way to start a podcast. I mean, unfortunately, for me, Ben, and Alex, and Thomas, and all the other people, we didn't really know each other as well. I mean, we're starting to, we're getting a better, like, relationship. We're knowing each other, better and better. I mean, I know Ben loves Hearthstone or whatever. I don't even know what it is. But, I make fun of him for that all the time. I make fun of Alex because of his Nintendo, needs and wants. And I'm just thinking, like, you're crazy. That's never going to happen, But, overall, you just need a good group of friends, and you're going to have a great podcast. Just be yourself, have a conversation. Like we're doing right now, I mean, you can ask Ben. It was a pain in the ass to start this, video right now that we're doing at this moment. It took us a good 20 minutes. Uh-oh, Superman's down. Again. And, so it's a lot of hard work, but, if you care enough and you just put a lot of hard work into it, at the end of the day, you're going to be happy, and if you just keep working at it and get to, episode 200, episode 300, if you're past that, congratulations. Like, that is amazing. But
yeah, make sure it's, like, something you're passionate about, too. Yeah. There's so many different podcasts out there. Say you're into Call of Duty. Start a Call of Duty podcast. Say you're into anything, really. Like, PlayStation podcast. you don't have to make it so broad. You can do whatever you want, because if you like something, there's going to be other people who like it too, and there's going to be other people who want to listen to you talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, me and Ben, we also experimented with, if you want to do this as well, just other things. I mean, first it was video games, then it was entertainment, so it's just kind of good to just kind of get a whole crowd of listeners. I mean, if you're, 17, 18 years old, you kind of realize, like, commercials, for example, they kind of revolve around, like, this one audience, and they kind of expand after, like, commercial, like Flow, for example, like Geico. I know this is kind of unrelated, but it has, kind of a parallel. Like, they just kind of relate to people with, insurance first, and that's all comedy, and it's comedy. And I think what we are doing here is kind of the same thing with, not Geico, Progressive or whatever it is. I don't even know. But, it's just, you just kind of get one audience, a small audience. We try to do PlayStation at first, and then we got, superheroes, we got movies, and now we just kind of want to listen to listener questions and see what they have. I mean, honestly, maybe Ben doesn't want to do this, but I would love to have kind of like a relationship, like Dr. Love questionnaire thing in the future, maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, yeah, if people send in questions.
Yeah, really.
Right?
Yeah, you guys definitely have to send your questions. I actually sent a few things to, and definitely, biggest thing is promote your podcast. It's good that you're improving and that, you're on episode 300, but if you have no listeners, like, if you really want to expand, like, in your heart, like, you really want to expand and, become huge, just promote it. Tell friends, tell family. I just sent out a video today to Greg Miller, and it's just, also like a little message saying, hey, it'd be awesome if you promoted this on your website. I really love you as a fan. You're a huge inspiration, all this other stuff. And to other people too, like all over YouTube. So at the end of the day, just make sure you're having fun with it, And if you want to expand, promote it. So,
yeah. And don't be discouraged if you have no listeners either, right?
Yeah, that was like the big thing for us. It was kind of a joke, but it's just, when you start thinking about it, I mean, it kind of hurts. But if you work hard at it and you just promote it, like I said, you should be fine, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. So
I think that was the question, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're good. Ben, it was good seeing you via Skype, by the way, guys. It took forever to try to hook this up, but it's glad to have you on, and hopefully we can get Alex or Thomas on in the future. And this is episode 2 of our little questionnaire thing. I mean, do you have a name, Ben? Any ideas?
No idea.
No idea for me. What about anything but the birds and the bees? That was my idea in episode 1. Not good enough?
I don't know. If you guys like it, then leave a comment in the below again.
Yeah, if you guys like it.
Whatever. Just below.
Yeah, and actually, what we can do? If you guys have a better idea, like for the name of the show, put it in the comments, and we'll probably grab that. And you could say, hey, that huge show that got big, decades ago? I created the name for that, which would be cool. So definitely put that in the comments. That's just my dream, by the way. It's just a dream for it to be huge. But yeah, this is the end of episode 2. What was it like starting a podcast? Also, again, we want to thank Cobalt 23. These names get me all the time, Ben. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it was, it's fun creating a podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I hope you guys have a good day and a good weekend, good weekday, whatever day you're watching this on, and have a good one. See ya.